President Trump claims the war is over between Israel and Hamas. So phase one of the deal he put forward saw the return of 20 living hostages to Israel and the release of nearly 2,000 Palestinian detainees and prisoners. Now, despite a big rollout for peace in the Middle East, key points for phase two of the president's plan remain unresolved at this very hour. So one sticking point, the return of hostages' bodies, those who did not survive their kidnapping. Many are still somewhere inside of Gaza. Hamas returned just 4 of the 28 victims, and that sparked outrage among senior officials. In fact, new reporting by the Associated Press is that Israel is threatening to reduce aid by half until the remaining hostages' bodies are returned, and fast. Just moments ago, President Trump weighed in on social media, saying in part the job is not done. The dead have not been returned as promised. Phase 2 begins right now. President Donald J. Trump, he signs. Well, let's go live to Yousef Munayyer. He's head of the Palestine-Israel program and senior fellow at the Arab Center in Washington, D.C. So obviously there is big concern about this agreement holding up, especially given the reporting on not all bodies being returned as is required. What's your reaction to that?
There is indeed significant concern about this deal holding up. This morning we saw Israeli strikes that killed reportedly 7 Palestinians inside the Gaza Strip. And we knew in these early days after the agreement that there would be very fragile moments that could easily be shattered by strikes like that. In relation to the bodies that are supposed to be returned, it's important to keep in mind that there was an agreement made in Cairo last week by the Israelis and the mediators and the Palestinians as well, that delineated specifically the mechanism for how this was supposed to work. The Israelis understood that because of the massive bombing that they undertook in Gaza, the tremendous destruction that they laid to the Strip, that it was not going to be easy to recover all of these bodies. And a mechanism was set up and agreed to between the Israelis, the Palestinians, and the mediators for how to share information about this and to get this to happen as quickly as possible. For these reasons, it's particularly alarming that, given that the Israelis had already agreed to this mechanism, they're looking for ways to kind of get out of this deal now, claiming that it's not moving the way that it is supposed to. But from what we know from what's been published around this agreement, this was expected.
Your language, they are looking for ways to get out of this deal, sort of transmits that you feel like there's an intention already. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, they have made it clear in the statements of the Israeli prime minister and the statements of the Israeli defense minister in recent days that there's an intention to continue to bomb the Gaza Strip. This is why President Trump was asked recently on Air Force One, what do you make of Benjamin Netanyahu's comments that he plans to continue this? And he had to say, the war is over, the war is over. And it's not clear if Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government fully understand that message from the president. His role here in ensuring that the Israelis hold up to their end of the bargain is going to be crucial.
20 living prisoners of terror group Hamas released yesterday, 4 bodies of 28 released. Part of the deal was also that some Palestinian prisoners would be released, some 2,000. Some of them were serving life sentences. Where do they go as leaders really insist that Hamas let go of power?
So there were about 1,700 Palestinians who were scooped up by the Israeli military from the Gaza Strip, who were never charged with anything and held basically as bargaining chips that were supposed to be released as part of this agreement. Some of them have been released. They are reuniting with their families who have been denied the opportunity to be with them. Many of them are coming back to destruction and killed relatives as well after suffering tremendous bouts of torture and mistreatment in Israel's prisons. Some of the folks who've been released as well were thought to be high-ranking officials, high-ranking Palestinians who could potentially play a role in future governance, but those are not the individuals that the Israelis ultimately chose to release. In terms of where things go from here, there is already a process underway for a different type of administration in Gaza. But again, that's going to require really close handling of this agreement's implementation by all of the mediators. so that things don't fall apart and simply return to the status quo ante.
The world is watching. Yousef, thank you so much for that.